What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers this year, I've talked about how they are a big team, right? I mean, outside of like three players, everybody's like 6'5" or bigger, right? Outside of like Bronny James, Gabe Vincent, I mean, even Marcus Smart is 6'3", but he has like that 6'9" wingspan, right? But outside of like those three guys, like everyone else is just huge, right? I mean, you have Austin Reeves, who's the next smallest, and he's 6'5". So, Lakers made a video about late last night that like, hey, lean in heavily to the size, take advantage of your size. But beyond like the size element, right? This team has what could be a deep team, right? You could have, I mean, you look at the starters, right? You got Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, DeAndre Ayton with Gabe Vincent, Marcus Smart. You could go Jared Vanderbilt or Jake LaRavia at either spot. Same thing with the 4 spot, Jared Vanderbilt or Jake LaRavia, and then Jackson Hayes. That's not counting Kleba, Bronny James, who's said to get some minutes this season, not counting Dalton Connect, who could get some minutes here and there, and they'll give you 30 on any given night, right? Like, you have several guys on this team and on this roster that could still kind of play a role. Dude Thero, right? If he's buying in on the defensive side and he's kind of an impact guy, you might have to find some minutes with him. It's why I'm okay with like kind of going into the season, evaluating, kind of seeing where this team is, seeing how this team plays. But I'm excited, right? I do worry about kind of the lack of defense in the starting unit, but I've talked about like, I do think the Lakers have enough defense overall. I do worry about kind of the lack of two-way guys. Now, maybe, again, Jake LaRavia can play that role. Maybe, Jared Vanderbilt, if he can kind of bump up to 34, 36% from three-point range, maybe we can get something like that. Right? There's options as far as, like, guys that could potentially be more two-way guys. Marcus Smart could be that guy. We'll see kind of how this season progresses, how this season develops, how guys kind of step up and play into the fold, right? But I have concerns about finding that balance, right? Offensively, I think the Lakers are going to be the best offensive team in basketball. It's just, can they be good enough defensively? And can you find that balance in the mix of, the course of the game in and game out, right? It's why I kind of like the idea of like going with like a Marcus Smart and a Jared Vanderbilt in the starting unit. Let Luka kind of just be Luka in the first 5 minutes of the game. And then you can always make those adjustments accordingly on the offensive side of things. Problem is, and the reason you can't really do that if you go pure offense, is because if you can't get stops and the offense isn't cooking, then that game can get ugly and get ugly quick. All of a sudden you look up, you're down 20, right? Where at least if you have the defense side, if the offense isn't cooking, then at least the defense can kind of keep it close and kind of close that gap for you. And then you can inject the offense as need be and kind of, do the shift change or whatever you want to do. But the biggest kind of concern right now, in my opinion, obviously, look, Lakers could use a starting 3 and D, and there are things that we kind of have questions about, but we don't really know yet, right? Because, again, Jake LaRavia could step up and be that. Jared Vanderbilt could step up and be that. The one thing that for sure I have concerns with is the athleticism, right? Because the one thing the Lakers didn't solve greatly is the athleticism. Now, DeAndre Ayton at the center position, athletic, did solve that there. I think that's great. Right? I don't want to take away from that. But, Jake LaRavia, he's athletic, but he's not like hyper athletic, right? He's not like, jumping out the gym or doing anything crazy like that, right? Like, he's athletic enough to where, I think he'll have an impact on the defense side. It'll help that we'll have a full season of Jared Vanderbilt being healthy. Bronny James is expected to get some minutes and be in the rotation a little bit. Landing a Dude Thero should help him be in the rotation a little bit. Marcus Smart, he can be a little pit bull. He can get after it. He's not what he once was, but he still is a guy that can get after it and still defend. And you look at his on-off numbers with Memphis last year, it's just ridiculous, right? So again, I do think that they fixed some of it, but primarily it's like, okay, your best athlete is still arguably LeBron James, right? Which, give him credit. The guy is otherworldly even at 41 years old. But it's like in your starting unit, you still have Luka, who don't get me wrong, he looks great. He's playing defense. He's getting after it. his teammates, his coaches, everybody, even he himself has said, I'm more athletic, I'm jumping higher, I'm, I running, turning into the Flash here a little bit, and maybe he does, right? But again, he's not a guy that is like built a career on being this like hyper athlete. Austin Reeves isn't a great athlete. Rui Hachimura, right? Like he can be, right? He's not like a terrible athlete or anything like that. He's a good athlete. Just defensively, it's just you don't really have that defensive switchability with those guys. It's like, you kind of look at Luka Doncic and it's like, okay, he's so great. Yeah, look past it. Then you get to Austin Reeves and it's like, okay, well, you must have this super athletic, super versatile kind of defensive guy slotted alongside those two if you're going to make this work. And it's like, okay, you got Rui Hachimura. All right, well then, man, your center, it must be Anthony Davis or something, right? And your other forward must be, like a Jared Vanderbilt. It's like, oh, okay. So no, right? Like, and that's where my dilemma lies. Like, one of the Lakers' biggest struggles against Minnesota was the athleticism, right? Minnesota just caused, like, even Rui Hachimura, from a defensive rating standpoint, he was actually one of the better guys for us in that series. He's actually one of the guys that actually showed up for the Lakers in that series, but his defensive rating tanked. He was already not great. He was like I think it was like a 116.7 and dropped to like a 119 and some change, right? So he dropped pretty significantly in the playoffs. And a lot of that was just the athleticism. Austin Reeves really had his struggles, and you saw him kind of tank out because of the athletic. They were being physical, they were being aggressive, they were being athletic. I mean, they have athletes all over the floor. And you saw it kind of wear down the Lakers over the course of the series. And, they were in all those games, yes. And, what does it look like if we had a, DeAndre Ayton in that series? I mean, I still think if Austin Reeves was like half decent, not like unplayably bad in that series, I actually think the Lakers might have been a different series. I don't know if they would have necessarily won it, but like, I do think that would have been a very different series, which is part of the reason why I'm so annoyed that, because I think that they would have been in the conference finals. I think that they end up beating the Warriors and they're in the conference finals, but that's neither here nor there. And also they might have even been in the NBA finals because, Lakers match up so well against OKC. Oh, man. Anyway, all I'm doing is upsetting myself, right? So back on track, right? Like, one of the big problems in that Minnesota series, one of the problems that I had with that series, which is why I said I think that that's like the worst matchup the Lakers could have. I did. I was not a fan of it. Everyone wanted Minnesota. I did it. I wanted the Warriors. The Warriors were the team that I was hoping and praying for. I mean, I talked about it in live streams. I did entire video breakdowns on it. I was like, I do not want Minnesota. I would have rather had Denver than Minnesota. I wanted anybody but Minnesota. Obviously, if you had to play them at some point in the conference finals or something like that, then you got to play them then. But I the first round in particular, I did not want Minnesota because their athleticism, their size, Rudy Gobert, right? I think the Lakers would have fared much better against them had they played them in later rounds, because I think they would have figured out a lot of what they needed to figure out in those, in a perfect world, we play Minnesota in the conference finals, right? Because I think at that point, Lakers would have had to kind of figured out some of the hiccups and flaws, right? So we played if we played, say, a Warriors team and then like a Clippers team or something like that, right? Depending on, I don't remember exactly how the seeding would have fallen if it was the Warriors, but let's just say it's something like that. Like, I think the Lakers would have figured out things by the time they played Minnesota to where they would have been able to better match up and mask those things, right? So that was a problem. Like, you look at their size, you look at all that stuff. Like, Lakers are a big team. Again, talked about it, did a whole video on it. Lakers are a big team, but they lack size on the interior at the center position. They don't really lack that anymore, but now they have the athleticism. Jackson Hayes is athletic, but he doesn't have that physicality, right? He's not big. He's not physical. He kind of a liability out there. The more he kind of is out there on the basketball court, the more and more those flaws start to show themselves. Now you have a guy in DeAndre Ayton where you saw a team like Minnesota was able to completely take out that Jackson Hayes, Luka Doncic lob threat because they know like Jackson Hayes can't do anything else on the offensive side of things. At least with DeAndre Ayton, he can run the pick and pop, right? If they cut off that lob threat and he has to come down with the basketball, you can just turn and shoot over either elbow, give you that little fall away, knock down the elbow. He's more versatile on the offensive side to kind of help. Gives you that athleticism, that hyper athlete. But again, I look at the Lakers' athleticism, and I do think they definitely got, again, a full season Jared Vanderbilt. Marcus Smart, I think, helps. DeAndre Ayton, I definitely think helps. Adu Thero potentially could be that. Bronny James, if he actually is able to kind of step in and play a role for the Lakers. But it's why myself and many others really want like an Andrew Wiggins in the starting unit, just to give you some of that athleticism into the starting unit, give you some of that versatility out there, right? Like, you can win a lot of games just by outworking, out hustling, and out athleticing, opposing. I mean, everybody that's in the NBA is an athlete, right? Like compared to us, right? Like even guys like D'Lo, as slow as he is, probably win a foot race against us. They're just compared by NBA standards, they're not athletic. Right. And that's where like the dilemma and the concern lies. And I look at Luka, I look at Osiriza, I look at Rui Hachimura, and I've talked about the last few years is like if the Lakers just got athletic like guards and wings, even if they're not like great offensively, you'd be amazed how much better the Lakers would look just because they have that athleticism. A lot of the Lakers' rebounding issues is due to a lack of athleticism because teams are jacking up more threes against the Lakers than most teams because they know, like, hey, I'm going to get a long ball rebound and I just got to win a foot race against Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, and at the time it was D'Angelo Russell. It's like, I could do that. Like, so they're like, yeah, like this is easy. Like jack up threes and we just got to out sprint them to the ball, right? But if the Lakers got that, the transition defense, part of the reason the transition defense is so terrible is because they don't have the athletes to get back. Right? So, it's just like, hey, I can win a foot race against the Lakers, right? So, like, push the pace and run up and down the court, where if you just added athletes, right? Like, an Adu Thero and a Bronny James, if they can actually play a role this year, could do wonders for this team. Like, Dorian Finney-Smith did wonders for this team because he is athletic. He can do multiple things. He can do the dirty work. He can make the hustle plays. He can do X, Y, and Z, right? Like, we need guys. Like, just adding athleticism could do so much for this team because now you have guys that can do the dirty work, make the hustle plays, chase down the loose balls, right? Like, get back in transition, be a help defense, be able to recover and switch on defense, right? Especially with the type of defensive schemes that we see JJ Redick want to run, where he wants to switch everything and have guys, come in and kind of help each other and do all these things, right? You need those athletes to get back, right? Because if you go to trap somebody, a team's just like passing out of the trap, they switch, swing, guys wide open, cutting to the basket, because you don't have the athletes that can get back and switch. You look at teams like OKC, they're able to swarm and throw 2-3 guys on you because they got a bunch of athletes that are able to just kind of get back. And it's just like you pass out of the double or triple team, everyone's back in position before that ball hits the next guy's hands. But you look at the Lakers, it's like everyone's still standing there wondering what just happened because they're not quick enough to react, right? So the Lakers, I do have my concerns with the athleticism. Now, again, maybe it won't be anything. Maybe the Lakers will be fine. Maybe they can overcome it. Like, how do you overcome it? You buy in, you engage, you're better on, you buy in on the defensive side of things, right? You really lock in. You have guys commit to both sides of the basketball. Offensively, the Lakers are just that good offensively, right? I mean, you look at a team like I mention all the time with Denver, like when they won the championship, right? They weren't like the most crazy athletic team, and they weren't like the best defensive team and all that stuff, but they were just this well-oiled machine that just, they were 15th in defense during the regular season, second worst in defense during the postseason, but they were just better than everybody. Right? They were just so good offensively. They were just this well-oiled machine. No one could slow them down. No one could stop them. I mean, as Laker fans, we know how it feels, right? When they were slowed down and they couldn't buy a bucket, we're up 20. We're feeling good. We're kind of feeling ourselves a little bit here. We're like, yeah, here we go. And then, boom, they just blitz us. And it's like, okay. All right, it's just one game. It's just one game. Boom, blitz us again, right? So the Lakers can kind of switch that up. I think that could potentially help in a lot of ways, right? It's just like, but I'd like to get not just like, I don't want to just get an athlete. I know earlier I was like, oh, we could just get an athlete, but it's kind of more to how ideally I want, an Andrew Wiggins or somebody that can come in, play a role, like be your starter or be a key guy off the bench, right? Be in your rotation. That's like, okay, this is a clear upgrade athletically. Again, just adding athleticism could help a ton. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.